Importance of observing chain of custody proves the integrity of a piece of evidence and that the persons who had charge of the evidence at any given time can be known quickly and summoned to testify during the trial if required. So it means it must be maintained and established in the court whenever presenting evidence as an exhibit because otherwise the evidence may be inadmissible in the court, leading to a serious questions regarding its legitimacy, integrity, and the examinations rendered upon it. So it is very important to observe chain of custody as it must be able to show that evidence was handled properly and was not contaminated, altered, or tampered. The term relevancy of evidence means that the information must reasonably tend to prove or disprove any matter in issue. The question or test involved is, does the evidence aid the court in answering the questions before it? So to understand the meaning of relevancy of evidence, for instance, consider a situation in which an accused is charged with theft of property. So the fact that the accused beat his wife and children would probably have nothing to do with his theft of property. So therefore, any testimony to that effect would be objectionable as being irrelevant. On the other hand, competency of evidence, as used to describe evidence, means that the evidence is relevant and not barred by any exclusionary rule and of such nature that it can be received by a court of law. It refers to evidence that is appropriate and needed to prove the issue of a fact that the parties have made. So, competent evidence may also serve as a link to the subject matter that is to be proved. So, competent evidence is admissible as fit and appropriate proof in a particular case. So, therefore, competency is a test of whether or not something is admissible. Police blotter is a term that is used in police practices and procedures. A police blotter is an 18 by 12 inches logbook with hardbound cover that contains the daily register of all crime incident reports, official summary of arrest, and other significant events reported in a police station. The details contain such as name, age and address of the suspect or person arrested, time and place of an incident, name of the officer who responded to the incident, and name of the victim or complaining person should be included in a police blotter. So, police blotter should answer the 6 cardinal questions of investigations, which are the 5 W's and 1H question. So in answering the 5 W's in 1H question, in the case disposition, all such materials details about the incident including the nature of the action or offense, the date, time and place of occurrence, the names of the suspect, the victim, the witness, if any, facts of the case, significant circumstances that aggravate or mitigate the event of the crime should be entered along with the identity of the officer to whom the case is assigned and also the status of the case. So in answering the 6 cardinal questions, it goes like this. So first, what specific offense has been committed? So it is the elements of crime. Second, how the offense was committed? So it is the method of commission. Third, who committed it? So it involves the parties in crime, which is the victims, perpetrators, and witness. Fourth, where the offense was committed. So it's the crime scene. So fifth, when it was committed. So it is the time and date. So last, why it was committed. So it is the motive. The dying declaration is the declaration of a dying person made under consciousness of an impending death. May be received in a criminal case wherein his death is the subject of inquiry as evidence of the cause and surrounding circumstances of such death. In order that a dying declaration may be admissible as evidence, 4 requisites must concur. So first, that the declaration must concern the cause and surrounding circumstances of the declarant's death. So meaning That refers not only to the facts of the assault itself, but also to the matters both before and after the assaults having a direct causal connection with it. So statements involving the nature of the declarant's injury or the cause of death, those imparting deliberating and willfulness in the attack, indicating the reason or motive for the killing, justifying or accusing the accused, or indicating the absence of cause for the act are admissible. Second, that at the time the declaration was made, the declarant was under a consciousness of an impending death, meaning the rule is that in order to make a dying declaration admissible, a fixed belief in inevitable and imminent death must be entered by the declarant. It is the belief in impending death and not the rapid succession of death in point of fact that renders the dying declaration admissible. It is not necessary that the approaching death be presaged by the person's feelings of the deceased. The test is whether the declarant has abandoned all hopes of survival and looked on death as certainly impending. Third, that the declarant is competent as a witness, meaning the rule is that where the declarant would not have been a competent witness had he survived, the preferred declarations will not be admissible. Thus, in the absence of evidence showing that the declarant could not have been competent to be a witness, had he survived, the presumptions must be sustained that he would have been competent. Fourth, that the declaration is offered in a criminal case for homicide, murder, or parricide in which the declarant is a victim. Importance of observing the duties and responsibilities of first responder and investigating team is very essential in a crime scene incident because a police officer who is the first responder to a crime scene is the one who properly protect, preserve, and in some cases collect evidences. They are the one who is the first to arrive at a crime scene, must appreciate the importance of preventing or controlling any changes in the crime scene, and together with the investigation team who will collect data, facts, and evidence, establish the sequence of events leading up to the occurrence, analyze and integrate available information, and develop findings and conclusions, and they both ensure that the investigation meet the set objectives and scope, because failing to resource the team properly will result in an investigation that doesn't get to the root cause of the incident.